Yeah, my name is Ravi Kumar and I'm based out of Bangalore. And about my experience, I have 11 years of experience in IT industry, where I do consulting, implementing, and administration of Microsoft and VMware product, and where I do manage the on-premises Active Directory and Windows Server administration, and also in on-premises I take care of VMware and Exchange Server administration. And when it comes to cloud, I take care of Azure administration and Azure Active Directory administration, Office 365 administration, and migration to Office 365. So this is a brief introduction about myself and about this course, wherein we'll be covering this AZ-104, right? So here, wherein we'll be covering almost 15 modules, and the overall the course duration is 30 plus hours, right? So 30 hours, I can say, where we'll be discussing more on introduction to cloud services, like what is cloud computing, what is the advantage of cloud, what are the benefits of cloud, and how do you manage or what are the ways we manage the Azure, right? So, and also we'll be covering on the subscription part, like how do you create the subscription, how do you manage the subscription, right? So, and what are the ways you delegate the subscription part, and also we'll be covering on the compute, like how do you create the virtual machine, how do you work on it. Okay. And also we'll be covering on the calculator part, like what are the ways where you'll be uh, getting the estimation, means whenever you get any requirement, right? So what are the ways where you'll be getting the estimation using the Azure calculator service. Okay. And then we'll be covering on the storage part. So how do you store your data, or what are the ways you can use your Azure to storing your data, right? So we'll be looking into the storage service like blob, file, tables, and queues. And also we'll be covering our network part. What is Azure Virtual Network, and what are the ways you can connect your Azure Virtual Network from your individual computer, or from your how do you establish a hybrid connection from your on-prem to Azure. And also we'll be covering the load balancing services. How do you create the load balancer in Azure? How do you implement your application? And also we'll be covering on the network security group, like what are the ways wherein we'll be working with the. Also we'll be looking like what will be the day-to-day activity, what all the tasks we are going to take care of uh, the virtual machines, right? So like managing the disk, managing the network, and working with the custom DNS, a snapshot, and how do you create the custom images, right? So we'll be covering on that part as well. And also we'll be covering on the high availability services, right? How do you deploy your virtual machine in a high availability service? So wherein we'll be working on that. Okay, so these are the topics wherein we'll be covering. And apart from that, wherein we'll be covering on two PaaS service, like how do you deploy your the app service or a SQL database as a PaaS. And also as a part of identity and access management, we'll be covering on Azure Active Directory administration, and how do you integrate your on-prem AD. And also as a part of backup, like we'll be seeing like how do you work with the recovery services, right? And how do you work with the monitoring services. So these are the topics where we'll be covering in this entire training. So any doubt, any questions on the contents?
Yes, please.
So, yeah, please go on.
Yeah, your training, is it based in real-time scenario? Just. What I'm saying, your training, is it based on real-time scenarios?
Yes, exactly right. So whatever we cover in the lab, so we'll be covering almost 90% practical oriented, right?
All right.
And yeah, and wherein we'll be covering this the real time, and so whatever we work in a real time. So the entire in the Azure portal, wherein we'll be connecting and we'll be working on that.
Okay, and I got the second question is about networking. You said that VPN, is it theory or practical also? VPN side, the one you mentioned on the slide.
VPN, yes, we'll be doing the practical as well, the point to site. Only thing for site to site, I don't have the VPN. So what we can do, we can we can try connecting two Azure VPNs, right? So that we can try like two different tenant. We can try connecting that.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, or if at all, if you have any VPN services, or if you want to try deploying Windows VPN service, we can do. So making that VPN is a bit challenging. So that's why. Otherwise, but still we can do that.
So do you
Sure.
also cover, yeah, so do you also cover the networking ASC?
Network AAC you are
So
talking about.
ASC, Azure service, some kind of, some kind of gateway between the websites or the applications and the network, WAF.
Okay, okay. Application firewall, right? So application gateway we are
Yeah.
talking with the. So that is not included. If you want, then we can plan it. No worries with
Okay.
that. Okay, so that if you want, we can include that.
So can we also like customize this? I mean, I probably don't need all these 14, but I need, some of them. So I've already been working on Azure, so I just need a couple more modules. So, so, so is it like customizable?
Yeah, we can try customizing it in the sense like any topics related to this, wherein we can try customizing that as
Okay.
well. Yeah, let me know like what are the topics you needed. So apart from this, so these are the base things, right? So here we have different type of audience.
So is there a way you can demo just at least one module a little bit so that, kind of gives us a understanding how much,
Sure.
like you are, or,
Okay, all right. So I'll just give a demonstration of this one, like how to deploy the virtual machine.
Sorry for the introduction. This goes only for admin, right? Admin, Azure Administrator.
Exactly. So this is for only the Azure administration, right?
Okay. So what about labs then? What about labs? Can you provide lab permissions, or we have to create one account?
So I'll be helping you to create your free trial account. So where you can do your labs there, and I'll be explaining you means how to deploy the
Okay.
services of the lab, and also I'll be helping to create your Azure account. So wherein you can do your practices there.
What?
Sorry, your voice is breaking.
so before he comes in, so can you
Okay.
also
So what
list
about
out?
the materials and recording videos? There any restrictions on there?
Yes, materials will be shared. Need not to worry on that, and the recordings will also be available, right? Anything you require beyond that, they will provide you that. Don't worry on that. Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, so I just have this question. I mean, I'm not sure like the certification of this course, but can you just guide us, like, so at least put it in the chart, what certification it might cover?
Yeah, so here we'll be covering AZ 104, right? So Azure
104.
104. That's right. So that is what wherein we will be covering it.
Administrator certification. Okay, got it.
Okay, so that is what the certification wherein we will be covering it up.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Let me know. Otherwise, we can move to the lab. Yeah. Anyone has any questions? Okay, all right. So we'll just have a small demo, like how do we deploy the virtual machine Azure, so that you'll get idea like how will the training will be going through us. One second, let me log into my Azure portal. So this is how wherein we'll be logging, right? So portal.azure.com, and once I log in with the credential, so now here I'll just quickly show you like how to deploy the virtual machine, right? So even our lab will be going through like this. So first thing, we'll be discussing the theory part of the content, like on the concept. And the second step wherein we'll be deploying the services, right? So while deploying the services, we'll be going through each and every option. So we'll be explaining each and every options there. Okay, now you can see here we are trying to deploy the virtual machine. So now virtual machine is one of the example of IaaS workload, right? Yeah. So virtual machine is one of the IaaS workload wherein um, the way how do you deploy in on-premises is the same way wherein we'll be managing the Azure workload. Okay. So now you can see we are going to give the virtual machine name. So let's take example. I'm going to deploy one of the app servers. So I'll just then name it as app server. So in Azure, wherein there are 42 plus regions where you can deploy your services. So on which physical region you want this virtual machine, you're going to choose it. And now here we are not going to touch the hardware or hypervisor, right? So we will be putting our requirement through this portal. So this is one way wherein you will be doing with the graphical user interface. And the second way wherein you can do via the command line utility as well. And this particular graphical user interface is able to do with the help of the ARM templates. Okay, so this is a predefined template, and also wherein you can create your custom template as well. So we'll be covering the overview of ARM template. So here we'll be selecting the image, right? So which operating system version you want. So here we'll not be deploying like how do we deploy in our on-prem on a physical or on a virtualization like mounting the ISO deploy. So we don't have that option. So you can use Microsoft Azure images, or even you can use your custom images as well. Okay, in the upcoming classes wherein we'll be seeing how to deploy the custom images. And what is the size of virtual machine you want? What is the CPU? What is the RAM? So we're going to choose from this available configuration. Then I'm going to create on the user account. Means I'm going to instruct here to create on user account. Okay, and there are other options wherein we'll be selecting, but this topics wherein we'll be covering when we go to the on the virtual machine creation part, right? So each and every option we'll be discussing, and then we will be deploying the services. So this is how the services will be deploying. So one way wherein you'll be understanding what is the service, how to create, and also we'll be covering what are the dependencies of this service. Okay, and in the next step wherein you will be covering on the, like if you want to cover any lab scenarios, I'll be giving you some tasks related to the lab so you can perform from your end. Okay, so we'll just wait for this virtual machine to get deployed. All right, so the deployment is in progress. We'll just wait for it. So here in the cloud, wherein there are three different models, right? So IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So in this training, we'll be covering on IaaS and platform as a service.
These administrators require any Git and Terraform coding, like is enough for?
Yeah, so here you required some amount of programming skill, right? So why? Because um, so what will happen here? Okay, so here you require the programming skill only to manage your Azure administration, right? So here you're not going to develop anything, you're not going to deploy anything. So only you will be working on the storage what do you say? The infrastructure administration part. Still it is deploying, we'll just wait for it. Okay, so this is one way, right? So like a day-to-day small task will be performed with a graphical user interface. Suppose if you have any bulk requirements, so wherein you require the coding skill like PowerShell or shell command, you can manage through that. And also wherein you required some amount of JSON programming skill, so where you can write your custom ARM templates. Yeah, any questions on this?
Yes. If the free trial won't expire,
Yeah.
what shall I do? Because mine will expire, I think.
Yeah, it's a good question. So usually this free trial account will work for 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay. And after 30 days is done, so what you can do, you can create one more free trial account, but you need to use a different card, different phone number, and different email ID. But you will be able to create one more. So basically, the free trial account is eligible for one time per person, right?
Yeah. Okay, but here it's difficult to, it's difficult to do that things. If I go to pay as you go, is it very costly or not?
Yeah,
Yes.
pay as you go. Or else see, one thing what you can do,
Yeah.
Usually 30 days is the free trial. So whenever you done with this one, no, what do you say? What do you say that? Okay, once your like 30 days is done, obviously you need to recreate.
Mm.
Okay, and if at all, if it's not done in the sense like you still have time, but always what I say, whenever you run anything, no, just stop it up. So here I'll show you. So see, here also there will be a charges, right? So whatever the services you run, the number of hours, so that charges will be deducting on your credits. So you can see there's a credit available for 30 days. So what I would suggest, like if you want to use it for effectively for the what do you say, the 30 days, so you can stop the services or you can remove it. So you can see there are some 3 services I started yesterday, right? So since I'm not using till now, so I just stopped it so that you can at least use for 30 days the complete credit amount.
Okay. Okay. If I use for half an hour, should stop it? Use the shell for half an hour or for 1 hour?
Usually it will be on hourly basis. So half an hour means it will be charging your half an hour like what charges almost.
So it's going to be 1 hour, is it? If I use for half an hour. All right. Okay.
Half an hour, yeah, partially. I'm not very observed on that part, but still,
1
yeah.
hour,
So
yes. 1 hour.
average will be, that's right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Any other doubts you have? Okay. So
Yeah,
it's deploying. Yeah. Please go on.
are you going to demonstrate PowerShell also? PowerShell part.
PowerShell basics we'll discuss. Okay. So basics, PowerShell commanding and managing, we will discuss.
Yeah. Okay.
The basic PowerShell will discuss, and if required any materials, we'll work on.
Okay. What about timing? Because I live in a different time zone. Okay. The timing is going to be, what time is that, your session?
So it will be India hours 8 o'clock,
8 o'clock. All right, thank you.
8 a.m. IST, or even we can plan it. Let's see. Don't worry on that.
Oh, 8 o'clock is fine for me.
Oh, all right. I'm not sure. It's still taking a lot of time. Let's wait for it. But the real-time lab wherein we'll be covering each and every step, because if I start covering, it will take more than 30 minutes. So I'll not be able to answer your questions. I just quickly run it. So here I'm just trying to show you like what are the ways like how the training will go. We'll go through the theory concept, then we will go to the service and we'll see each and every option of deploying the services, and also we'll cover on the this one.
Hi, sir. How will be the opportunities to as an Azure admin?
Yeah, Azure Admin, wherein you can see a lot of good opportunities, right, in the market, and AWS and Azure is doing good. Definitely, you can expect very good job opportunities, that I can say. It is doing good in the this one. What do you say? The cloud services, no? The marketing is really good. But it's a right time, what I can say, right? So there are a lot of other cloud services are moving on, like the virtual desktops, like Azure VDI, right? So there are many things which is moving on. Fine. Okay, okay, any other questions, any other doubts you have?
What is course fee, sir?
A fee part, you can talk to our coordinator, so she'll be helping you. Yeah, finally it's done. So now you can see this is how wherein you'll be deploying the workload. So in the cloud, wherein we do not have to worry on the physical hardware or the hardware configuration, either it can be the compute, storage, or network. Okay, so whatever we manage, right? So this we can say it as a software-defined data center, right? So this is the IP address of the machine. So currently I don't have a dedicated connection, so I'm going with this public IP. Okay, so I'm using the remote desktop here, Windows remote desktop, Microsoft remote desktop. So if it's a Windows machine, we take RDP, right, in on-premises. And also if it's a Linux, we go with SSH. So same way here also, you'll be doing it. Okay. So the password is already stored in this application. So how do you connect to your on-premises workload? The same way you'll be connecting to your Azure workload as well. And later, if you want to add to the domain and if you want to manage, yes, you'll be doing it the same way. Okay, so now you can see this is a server which is hosted in Microsoft data center in West US part. right? So to deploy this workload, we have not touched their hypervisor, the hardware, or whatever. So now this is just another data center which is running on the cloud, right? So whatever the Azure account you create and whatever the services you deploy, so that is your data center, what we can say. Okay. So from here onwards, if you want to join this machine to domain, and if you want to manage from there, yes, you can do that. Yeah. Any doubt, any questions on this? Hope you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, yes. Sir.
Okay, all right. Not like something's good. Okay. So this is how wherein you'll be deploying in one of the workloads. So when you ask about what is the certification where it will be covering here, so let me show that. Okay, so this is the certification content what we'll be covering in this training. Okay, and the topics you have gone through it. So anything topic which is related to Azure admin, if you want to add, let me know. I will add. So need not to worry on that. So with this concept, right? So whoever is very new to the Microsoft Azure cloud services, so they'll be understanding how to deploy each and every services and what all the dependencies and what all needs to be considered before you deploy any services in the cloud. And apart from that, if you want to check out with any scenario based, yes, we can work on the scenario based as well. Yeah. Any questions, any doubts on this?
Sir, is these skills enough for get into jobs, sir? What we learn in this 40 days period, or else we have to add any other skills?
So this is good enough. So even you can see, even it depends upon the organization, right? So what will happen? So most of them will ask additional to this as well, and few of them will be good enough with this, right? Means it depends upon the job description. So apart from this, like if you want to add up, you can add up like some sort of automation, right? So that can help the automation part.
So the automation part will not cover this course, right, sir? We have to go for another course, right?
Exactly right.
Automation, you mean Terraform, is it?
Actually, I have to also new member to this cloud computing platform. Can you suggest what are the requirements we have to go for good administrator? What are the pre-requirements? Not only this administration tool like Terraform, Git. What are the minimum stuff we
Yeah.
have to require?
Knowing the basics of Windows and Linux server administration. Okay, so you should be knowing basics of networking. So you should be knowing basics of virtualization. What is virtual machine? What is virtual network? What is virtual workload? Everything, right? And also you should be knowing something about the basic networking means what is IP address? What are the classes of IP? And what is subnetting? And what are the network devices, what are the functionality of that, like what firewall will do, right? And what VPN will do, and what is the backup, what is the use of backup, right? So all these things wherein you should be learning up. Yeah, any other doubt, any other questions?
The duration is going to be 4 weeks, is it? 1 month. Is it?
It will take 6 weeks, I can say. So 30 hours content, we can say minimum. Again, if the lab drags, so it may drag a couple of hours. Otherwise, if you take 30 hours, so in a week 5 hours, so 6 weeks 30 hours. So 6 week you can keep in plan.
Okay, that means from Monday to Friday.
Yes, exactly, Monday to Friday. That's right.
All right, thank
Yeah. Any doubt? Any questions? Let me know.
So after completion of course, can provide any real-time project or can provide any one-to-one guidance?
We'll do the real-time project, no issues. So based on any scenario you want to try, or if you want to go, I usually do the traffic managed web application, right? Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions?
I think you are working in Azure as like administrator, like mediator level, intermediate level. Can you give one concept or why there are two more competitors in the market, like depending on cloud? So why so much clients require Azure?
I didn't get you. Like, you mean to say why people are most using Azure services? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, AWS is one of the old cloud service provider, right? So people are consuming on the AWS, and Azure is a very flexible to manage your infrastructure in the cloud, right? So wherein what do you say, the documentation part, right? And also whenever you want to find a new administrator, right? So the Azure administrator, you get it very quick. So what I can say, when you see the job market or the adoption, AWS and Azure, yes, they are leading in the market with the cloud.
What about the Google GCP?
Even they are also doing good. So they are picking up. So when you say 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So Azure, sorry, AWS, Azure, then we can say Google. Yeah. So these are the three leading cloud provider in the market. See, if you know one cloud, other clouds also will be the same. So here and there, the costing, obviously the costing and the features and the backend. Anyways, we don't mind whether it's running on a Hyper-V, VMware. So when you want to run a Windows machine, you'll get it on it, right? So you'll be working on it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, every feature, everything is same to all cloud providers.
Okay, when you say IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS now, so this architecture will be the same, right? So now, if you run a virtual machine, you can create a same virtual machine in Azure, AWS, and Google, and you can access in the same way. Backend, they might be using a different hardware, different hypervisor. Anyways, that doesn't matter for us, right? So that is taken care by them. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, if you have any questions, anytime, any doubts, anytime, so you can reach us. So we'll be helping you out. So if anyone is not shared your contact details, please share your contact details so that the required materials and the meeting details will be shared. Yeah, Sagar, Yonis, Krishna, can you please share your contact details so that the materials and the upcoming meeting sessions, everything will be shared over that.
Yeah, no, she already has because I'm doing Kubernetes with her.
I'm sorry, I didn't get you.
I said I have sent it. I already joined the other courses.
Oh, okay, okay, all
Yeah.
right. So your contact details is already there. All right,
Yeah,
no
already
worries.
there. Yes. Well, currently I'm doing Docker and Kubernetes with Anish.
All right. So if anyone is not shared, please share your details so that the materials and other things will be shared over that.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
When
So
when the starting date is?
we'll be starting by next week. So probably.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any doubt, any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll just drop off. So any questions if you have, we can connect and we can discuss. Okay. All right then. Thank you guys. Thanks for your time. So have a great day. So if you have any doubts, you can reach us back. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for a great demo.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.